So you guys were one. I'm hearing a lot of you guys. You guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that. And when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair use, educational, for education and entertainment purpose.
Well, hey everybody, it's me, Shane Kippel, spinner from Degrassi. I know, yes, I'm aging like a fine wine. Don't stop with the compliments. I can't take all of that. I'm blushing. I'm blushing. Right here though, I'm here for a different reason. Make sure you subscribe to Crazy Cat Lady's channel, so you could see, lots of Degrassi type content. Okay, and you might hear some stories. You might get some different takes, like this take right now.
Hi everybody, Martha here. So this is my take on season 7 of Degrassi, and this is the season where Lakers gets burned. Yep, that's a lot of excuses for. I've watched this. I've seen like probably like 3 different fires, or at least 4 fires happened in this time. As much as I've seen this show, because they even had a fire back in the happened during the show's first time when all the when Spike, Archie, Joey, and Caitlin left middle school. Their middle school burned down. So they use this a lot in the show. So yeah, so a lot of the characters are new this year. Come from Lakers. We got Sab, um, Holly J, who is this is Heather Sinclair's little sister. Now, for people who don't get the whole entire joke, because I have not brought it up yet, since she's just a non-character in the show. This is something that a lot of the characters have brought up, and we don't ever get to see her face. Like, the closest thing we get to see to Heather and Sinclair in this show is her arm. When Mr. Oleander is doing yoga, when Paige is still Paige is trying to be attracted to him, we saw him show her how to put you saw him put Heather in the right position. And all we got to see with Heather was her arm in that episode. We have not seen any other things from her. We have not had any stories from her, and yet the characters like to make a whole bunch of compliments about her. And here we finally get to meet, but Holly gets to be more of a character and her own sister, and we are actually mentioning her all the time. I was not mentioning it because it's just a silly joke and it was not really relevant to things earlier. So I had to wait until Holly showed up. It only time it would ever make sense. Holly is basically the new Paige in this show. She is the mean girl that they have all the time, and I would say she's actually worse than Paige because she treats her friends like crap. The way she treats Iva and tests her and how much to stay with her. She gives her make sure she gets a bad grade by using Heather's paper, and she's so mean to Mia about her being having a kid and stuff like that. Seb is just a boyfriend that Iva gets to having, and we find out that he's he will end up being betrothed someday to somebody he's probably never gonna meet, basically. But it's his decision. He marries her, and that almost tears apart him and Iba's relationship. He Mia thought she was into him, but she was just trying to get pointers how to talk to Iva. So I think those are all the new characters. Those three. We also got the kid. We also got the guy Joey. He's a character now, the one who watched JT get stabbed. And you can't. I never really blamed him. He's just. It's not his fault. We shouldn't really blame anybody but the guy who stabbed JT. So, what was he supposed to do? Stop his friend? You can't really hold against him, Toby. Yeah, Toby doesn't really have. Toby has like 2 stories happen during this season. Is when Holly J is trying to get tutor from him, and she ends up saying the wrong thing. Eventually, she wants to try to make him where they're friends, but he says no because she kept on saying between the wrong things to him. And when Toby wanted to kept confronting Joey online by doing podcasts, is like we do nowadays. So, yep. And Joey mostly is in fights with Spinner when he's during cancer, and so does Bruce and Mia's kid's dad. I don't remember his name. Some of these characters these new characters, I don't remember their names, since I have not, like I told you guys, I have not watched that far in the show ever. I watched this season before, yes. Like I said, I stopped watching the show when all of the older characters that were around when JT was alive all left. So, there you go. And basically, him and Mia almost loses her daughter during the season because of he tries to make her have fun and take her daughter to a party, and the cops got called to call IRS, called Child Aid Service, and so she still got to keep the kid, but she has to be more careful. And just don't bring your kids to parties. So I think that covers all the new characters. Let's get to the older ones. So most of Ellie, Marco, and Paige. Let's cover those 3 first, since most of their stories are lobbed together. This is technically we're gonna see them again at next season when they do the 4-part movie that they did always at the end of this season. But this is pretty much the last time we see these characters for a while, because they decided to move. Ellie ends up breaking up with Jesse because Jesse cheated on her with Caitlyn, of all people. Because Caitlyn's like a decade older than these kids, and she ends up dating. She ends up making out with Jesse, and that made and Ellie was supposed to be interviewing Caitlyn. So she ends up asking her, "Why did you kiss my boyfriend?" Basically. So during their interview, and she "Why are you humiliating me during this?" And she explains, "That's my boyfriend. You were kissing me." and Jesse did not tell him anything. Um, Marco is upset that he has to let both Paige wants to move away and get her own condo, and so he doesn't think that him and Emily can afford to pay for the rent of the house they live in now, and he still miss. And he is dating Eric, who works at the newspaper at the college, and he also has to deal with a rich guy, who's heading on him, and the reason why the guy is rich is because he ends up having sex with people in cars and gets paid for it. So he tries to get Marco to do it, but he says no, and Marco has to let go of Ellie because they can't afford to keep on. They can't afford the apartment, so they can't afford the house, so they'll have to move out. And Paige, basically, I say the one that she has big story she has this season is she almost attracts AIDS. They have a new Griffin who's been in I think on the show since last season, but he's not that important to the show that much. So I didn't really mention him, and I think he never really got his own stuff. Only really get to learn about him during this season is that he has AIDS. He got it from his mom. He was born with it, and he risked getting Paige, even though they used protection, and she got mad at him for a good reason. So, but we never find out if she doesn't have it or not. It goes nowhere. Really, we never ever return to this subject. So let's get to the kids are the ones that are still at the school. Ashley and Jimmy stop dating because Ashley ends up wanting to make herself big like Craig, and at first she wants to take Jimmy with her, and this is how we discover Drake in real life. This is how Drake gets discovered, is on this show. Because he starts rapping during this season, and apparently some record company watched the show probably and got him, and we don't ever see Jimmy again after this season, as far as I know. And if he doesn't return to the show, I understand. He has more stuff. He has more opportunities now, and he's not the only thing a lot of people know from this show. Who's famous is him. So, yep. And he mostly leaves Ashley because Ashley took off his music for one song and tries to go a bit without him. And he ends up getting mad at her for it. And also he finds another girl in the wheelchair who he relates to more and stuff like that, who actually treats him like a real person and stuff like that. I don't remember her name, but yeah. And Spinner, he ends up getting cancer during this season. He goes and dates Jane. Oh yeah, I forgot Jane. Jane is mostly is Spinner's girlfriend during this season, and she's also the sister of the guy of Mia's dad, daughter, whatever. And she ends up just being the supportive girlfriend during this season and learning and trying to make him stop fighting with Johnny and Bruce. So, and helping him through the cancer life. And Spinner has to tried to learn he needs to study and not because he gets over cancer, and he starts having a band with Danny, Seb, and Peter secretly. They wear masks on rabbits because he didn't want to be seen with younger students. So it's a secret band, and that's what usually we always have the groups. The kids always get into bands during the show, and yep. So we get to see all those kids graduate. Emma, Liberty, and Manny. Let's put those ones together, and Jay. Manny and Jay start pretend to date at first, so she can have more freedom and stuff like that. Eventually, it turns into a real relationship. He eventually opens up about his family because we never really get to see Jay's family. He seems at selling the ring so they can go to meet his mom because of all the lies he's doing. But he ends up finding where the ring is. Manny to a pawn shop and he breaks into it, and he almost makes Manny lose that position of getting her dream college, but he ends up wooing the dean at the school. And even though I don't like Jay as a character, I can totally see why an older woman would want to do so much with him. It was kind of funny, this part. And Emma has to learn not to be so controlling because Snake gets accused for being hitting on a student, Darcy. And I'll get to what happens to Darcy later. Anyway, and Emma is trying to make sure that her dad gets back to being a teacher at the school. And also Sean comes to visit before he goes to be set up to war, and he's having a hard time just dealing with that because he tries to get Snake to exercise and have a exercise plan, but he goes a little too hard on about it, and Snake ends up trying to help him deal with it by telling him you can handle it. And we don't know. Do we know that he ever comes back? He's okay. As far as I know, this is the last time we see him. So, yep. And Liberty, I don't know. She mostly has to deal with the fact that she likes Damien, who's Emma's boyfriend during this season, and her kissing him during the graduation almost costs them their friendship, and that's basically and they all get to say goodbye to JT one last time. They have a little hat ceremony after the graduation for him. So that's all those kids. So let's get to Peter, Danny, Derek, and Darcy group. Let's start with Darcy. Darcy has something really bad happen to her this season. She ends up Manny, Seb, and Jane go on to a ski resort, and they'll go to a party, and Peter's there too. And there's a party, and there's drinks and stuff like that. Somebody puts a Rufu inside Darcy's drink when she leaves it alone. and she ends up getting raped. She wants to believe that her and Peter did it, and Peter tells Derek and Danny, and Darcy tells Manny, and eventually she remembers that she realizes that it wasn't Peter because the guy who did it smelled bad, did not smell like Peter at all, and she realized that she got raped. So she goes crazy this season. We don't blame her. Only part that she probably shouldn't have done is I know she panicked, but she really should not what she did with Mr. Simpson. She cuts her hair, and she ends up telling Mr. Simpson about her game raped. So Peter, Manny, and Mr. Simpson knows, and Mr. Simpson thinks it's getting a little too serious because she is cutting her hair right in front of him. She's trying to hurt herself if she goes to tell anybody, because she has not told Mrs. Ovey, the school therapist, and when Mr. Simpson corners her with her parents and Mrs. Ovey and the principal, she ends up lying and tells that Mr. Simpson's been touching her, and almost loses him his job and his reputation at school. So, at the school and his work. So, Emma and obviously Mr. Simpson would not forgive her for being understandably mad at her for it. And I also forgot the whole entire thing with the purple dragon incident with Emma, where they were having like a sponsorship happen at the school, and Emma got wear the dress, and she ends up going just to take it off because she finds out how the sponsorship is like treating her and telling her to lose weight because she has like the biggest dress and stuff like that, and we know that she is bulimic, so yeah, and she ends up going against the sponsor and taking the dress off right in front of everybody. We only get to see the back. So yeah, I don't like every time I see the scene, I always wonder, how does she not get expelled? So yeah, so Danny and Derek break up this season. Their friendship breaks up because they both like a girl named Rachel, and while they're trying to film for a school assignment, Danny gets accused of stealing at the mall from, I think, a Victoria's Secret store kind of store, and the store clerk is racist and blames him for it. So I think it's more of that incident than the whole entire girl thing. He thought Rachel liked him, and the teacher who's always mean to the students, who's been there I think since season 2, compared this to like Oko Ono and the Beatles incident. So yeah. And Peter, mostly, only thing that Peter ends up having to go on his own because his mom is leaving this season, and so he decides to do what Sean did and come responsible for himself at the end of the season. So I think that's basically it. If I forgot anything during the season, let me know. Uh, if you want to compliment anything about my take about the season, let me know. Or have any of your own takes about the season, also compliment on it. So remember, Degrassi, it goes there. Bye bye.